So GTA 6 was announced. When I was a teen, GTA 5 was on PS3, and that's where I beat GTA 5. Now I'm an adult, and finally we get a GTA 6 announcement. Thanks to that, we're gonna do a tier list. Now, I don't need to explain what a tier list is. I mean, it's everywhere on YouTube. Everybody knows what a tier list is. You know what a tier list is. I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't have to explain anything. This is basic stuff. Everybody knows what a tier list is. So, we're gonna start off right away. First thing I'm gonna do, pick the ones I haven't played. Also, I realized there's a bunch of these that are just GTA Online heist. Now, I have played GTA Online. I haven't played any of the heists because GTA Online is stupid. Okay, so that's a big chunk that I removed. Let's start off with GTA for the PS1. I'm gonna say it's an okay game. I do remember a little bit of it because I played it on emulator, and I never really had the OG disc for the PS1, so you know, I'm a bit of a zoomer. I never was alive during that time. I wasn't even planned yet, so yeah, I only got to play on emulator, so I don't know if that, I don't know if that hinders or changes the experience. I know it was like a top-down 2D game. It was also open world-ish, and it was very arcadey. If I remember correctly, it also had multiple cities. If I remember correctly, I'm not sure. Yeah, a lot of the missions were also timed. I don't remember much of the story. I just remember the game being okay. You know, I wouldn't say it was bad by any means, but I remember it being very arcadey in a sense, and very like traditional RPG-esque in a way as well. From what I heard, GTA was supposed to be like a racing game before it got turned into like what it is. But yeah, it's the grandfather of GTA essentially. It's where it all started, so I wouldn't say it's bad. I would say it's okay, at least from what I remember. Now then, this is where stuff gets good, because this is where most of my nostalgia comes in. GTA 3. I would say that it's a great game. Ultimately, I would say it's best of the best, but I'm looking at this tier list less, like, I'm not putting my biases in here, but GTA 3 is a great game. It is great. It basically was the blueprint for all open world sandbox games. Like, I know some people say no, Legend of Zelda is the grandfather of that, but I would say GTA 3 is the one. It basically evolved not only the franchise, but also a lot, and I mean a lot of games took GTA 3 as a blueprint to make their own. I'm looking at you, Saints Row, and even there, if I remember correctly, there was even a Scarface open world game, and I believe the Mafia series came after this, if not maybe a little bit later. But yeah, to me, it's one of my favorites. It's actually my top favorite. It's also kind of arcadey in a sense, but you know, the story plus everything else is it's just really good, and to me it still holds up to this day gameplay wise, even though it's a little bit goofy and janky in some areas. GTA 3 is still my top favorite. Now then, next up on this list is GTA 4. I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna agree with me when I do this. Just kidding, it's right here. GTA 4 not only is to this day still the best game in my opinion, it's also to this day the best written GTA game with the best pro tag. Like there still hasn't been a pro tag that beaten what Nico is really. If anything, I think this is the only GTA game where you play what's essentially a gray character, or at least arguably the only good character in the series. Because if I remember correctly, Nico kind of goes into the whole crime life by force. Like, it's not like he actually wants to do it, he's kind of forced to do what he's doing. And it's the most realistic character too. He reacts accordingly to a lot of the things that happen in the game. Like, in terms of atmosphere, story, characters, like, it's it's still best game still. Now after Grand Theft Auto 4 is GTA Liberty City Stories. Have I played the game? I think I have. I played a little bit of it, but I wouldn't say I played. Have I played enough to remember it? I would say it's okay. It's an okay game. If you play GTA 3, you pretty much play Liberty City. I'm kind of surprised that the remastered trilogy didn't have any Liberty City Stories or Vice City Stories, which is weird. It's a bit on the shorter side as well. Like, I remember the protag getting hella abused by his mother in that game, which is sad. But overall, it's alright. You know, it's an alright game. Next up on this list is GTA Online. Next up, I don't know what to say about GTA Online. I played a little bit of it. I had fun customizing my own character and all that. But the fact that it depends so much on the shark cards. I mean, sure, you could grind up money, but the money grind was very slow from what I remember. Like, people relied heavily on them shark cards, and I just didn't like it. I was gonna get it for PC so I can play it with, you know, my girlfriend and all that, but hacking and all that, it's just, it doesn't sound like it just wasn't really fun for me. If you want to play a crime game where you get to build your own character, Saints Row is right there. Sadly, the reboot was trash. But, you know, the whole shark card thing and the online hacking is just like, puts me off really. Up next is GTA San Andreas. I believe no one's gonna argue with me putting it as the best of the best. And I can't argue with people with that either, because it really is. GTA San Andreas is essentially the Resident Evil 4 of GTA. Like, GTA San Andreas is essentially Budokai Tenkaichi 3 of GTA. Okay, it's essentially the game where whenever you ask any fan which GTA game is the best, people are gonna say San Andreas, and I have to agree with them. It's true. It's the most immersive. It has the most deep mechanics when it comes to its RPG side of things. The fact that there's so much customizability for CJ, not only in physicality and how you like physically build him based on your activities, but also that you can learn different martial arts for like hand-to-hand combat and actually affects gameplay. Like, there's so much in the girlfriend mechanic, which in a way is kind of useless, but it's still like a fun add-on. Like, it's the most immersive GTA game. I haven't seen a GTA game ever implement this much like immersive mechanic in it. Story is great, gameplay is fun, and it still holds up to this day. Visually it doesn't hold up that well, especially in the remasters. Like, the remasters just look kind of weird in a way. I like the cartoony side of things that kind of looks, but still at the same time it just looks a little bit too weird. But in terms of gameplay, it still holds up to this day, both the remasters and the classic ones. Also, I do remember San Andreas actually had a co-op, like a couch co-op multiplayer. It did limit some missions a little bit from what I remember, but I'm kind of weirded out that they never brought that back. Like, it would have been neat to just, you know, be on the same, like, play local multiplayer with your bud. In fact, if they do that for GTA 6, that would be great. That would be really fun. Next up, Vice City Stories. I'm gonna put it in okay game. There's not much I can add to it, you know. Now, Vice City though, I'll put it in great. Not only is the gameplay really fun, it's the GTA game I remember putting the most hours in, especially because of the radio. Now, I wasn't born during that time, but I do remember hearing a lot of that music because, you know, people around my home like to listen to that kind of stuff. Michael Jackson and all that stuff. One of my favorite bands is Iron Maiden. And I wasn't born during Iron Maiden's time, but I listen to his music today and Iron Maiden is really good. And Vice City captivates that 80s vibe really well, like that synth wave vibe, and I do hope that the new GTA 6 game carries that out really well. I know it's a little bit more modern, it takes a little bit more modern time, but I really hope it maintains some semblance of that synthwave vibe, because synthwave is still popular to this day. It still holds up really well. But yeah, it's the only GTA game I remember using the radio. Like, normally in GTA, I don't really care much for the radio. GTA Vice City is the only one where I actually actively listen to the radio, especially for its music. It's the only one where I actively park the car or motorcycle just to listen to the radio because it's that good. It has some really good beats in it. Now, I see there's 2 GTA Onlines, which is kind of stupid. So I'm just gonna put in that as well because I can. And I see here 2 expansions for 4. And quite frankly, I haven't played the expansions. Now that I remember, I have not. It came out during a time where DLCs for me were like, I don't know, kind of like an anomaly. Unless it came with a special edition I'm buying, I don't know anything about the DLC. That's how it used to be back then for me. So like, when it comes to like these expansions, I don't think I have played it. So I'll put it in haven't played. Yeah. Now GTA 5. I have played GTA 5 a dozen times. I played it on PS3. I also played it on the PS4 version. I played it on Xbox One as well. And to me, Michael and Franklin's stories were the only ones that were like really interesting. While when Trevor shows up, even though Trevor was my favorite character back then, and it still kind of is, it just felt like whenever Trevor shows up, it's like I'm watching an Adult Swim show. Which I don't mean it in a good way. I mean it more as an insult. It's the story feels a little bit convoluted at times when it comes to its vibes and when it comes to like its general emotion you're trying to convey. Now here's the thing, Trevor can be funny, and to be honest, Trevor isn't really that bad of a character, but when you try to make a concise story with 3 pro tags, Trevor just feels out of place when compared to Franklin and Michael. And yeah, I'm gonna put GTA 5 in okay, because the gameplay is fine. I like how the gameplay works, and some of the RPG mechanics seem a little bit better, while also being very simplistic and almost out of the way, to the point where people just don't really even realize there's RPG mechanics in GTA 5. In GTA San Andreas, the RPG mechanics were very much present, but 5 is almost invisible to the point where people don't even notice that there's RPG mechanics in it. So in terms of gameplay, it's fun. It's a fun game. There's some cool missions, some cool highlights, but in terms of story, it's a little bit meh. It's not really all that great in my opinion. Now, this one is gonna surprise a few people. Chinatown Wars. It's also right up there as best of the best. Now, not only was it one of my favorite DS games, it was also one of my favorite GTA games, like portably. Like, I know GTA 3 and a bunch of other GTA games were like portable, especially Liberty City Stories and City Stories. Other people like them. For me, Chinatown Wars takes the cake. Not only did it have a bunch of cool fun mechanics like scavenging and being able to hotwire cars and all that, but the story was actually really interesting. It was really interesting, and one of the few GTA games to have actually really interesting female characters that for my taste kind of died too early. I'm not gonna spoil much. I'm not gonna say who. I'm just saying that it's a really good story. It's really good, and the gameplay is still really fun. And there's a DS game of it, and there's also a PSP version of it, if I'm not mistaken. So if you can get either one, I do recommend it. You're missing out if you never play Chinatown Wars. I'm just saying, it's actually that good. The DS one might be a little bit harder to find, and for emulation it might be a little bit trickier to play, but if you can get the PSP version, it works just as fine. But I'm just saying, I'm just saying it's really that fun, and I'm surprised that Rockstar hasn't done like a 3D remake of this. Like Chinatown Wars not only is a good mirror of the classics, it's also a good like to me it's a good modernization of what the classics are, which are like the top-down 2D games. And Chinatown Wars does it really well, not only narratively but also in gameplay and mechanics. If you had a DS, it honestly the touchscreen minigames to like scavenge through trash or to like hotwire cars and all that stuff, it's not really all that bad. It's actually pretty fun. I'm not sure how the minigames hold up on PSP, but I know that on DS it was really fun, and the game in general is just that fun. Like it really is. Sorry, I forgot to silence my phone, and the plane is coming back. Holy shit. I think that's a helicopter? I don't know. Anyways, that be my tier list. I hope the algorithm picks this video up so that people can see this and judge me and probably roast me. If not, I don't know. I don't care. I hope GTA 6 actually holds up. I know in terms of gameplay it's gonna be amazing, but in terms of story, I hope it holds up. I heard it's gonna be like a Bonnie and Clyde style story, which I'm excited to see how they do this. Otherwise, I don't know. Thanks for watching. Subscribe or something. Do whatever the hell you want.